Hey, deserving listeners, it's time to continue our journey watching 90 Day Fiancé. Let's get to the show.
Who cares about you more than they care about themselves? You don't let them go. You don't let them get away.
That what she told you? She cared about you more than she cared about herself?
She had to tell me.
She's got very good game.
Oh, wow.
I'm really skeptical about this situation. He fell in love with this girl so fast. With third world country girls, they're all out to get money. That's how I look at it. She wants to come to America. Period, point blank. The con artist is a con artist. You gotta be real with yourself, man.
Wow. So, women from third world countries are all out to get you. What was that thing he said?
He fell in love with this girl so fast. With third world country girls, they're all out to get money. That's how I look at it.
With third world country girls, they're all out to get money. Eesh.
She wants to come to America. Period, point blank. The con artist is a con artist.
Now, is Hazel all out to get money? Is she tricking Tarik? Who knows? There's no way to tell, really. You could make a guess based on what we're seeing, but there's no way to know.
You gotta be real with yourself, man.
But now, all of the concerns that Dean had about Hazel that turned out to be unwarranted are what I have concerns about him. Dean met this girl on WhatsApp. He went to the Philippines to see her, told everybody he was scheduled to go there for 2 weeks. And I found out on Instagram, he has lost the remaining part of his mind that was left over.
All right, interesting. So the brother who was very adamant about women from the Philippines being up to no good, all of them are up to no good if they're interested in an American guy, has now started to date someone from the Philippines, and now it's Tarik's turn to be very skeptical about his girlfriend. It's interesting. I've been thinking about this, but I haven't said it, I don't think, which is that I wonder what Tarik and the brother have been through in their lives that require them to stick up for each other and to be very insular, if you will, to be very protective of each other, to be very paranoid about other people and what they're capable of doing to the family. I wouldn't be surprised if the brother said, look, there have been countless other examples in which I have had to step in for my younger brother and protect him, not only from women, but from all sorts of things. He's made all sorts of mistakes. And honestly, our family has been attacked by a lot of things from the outside. So I have reasons to be protective of my family members.
This is a public service announcement. This quick video to let y'all know what the deal is. And here it is. I have extended my stay here in the Philippines indefinitely. Actually, I will be retiring here. And this is a very, very peaceful place.
You know, irony is beating down his front door. Hypocrisy is burning his house down.
Interesting. So, public service announcement, he is now going to live in the Philippines for the rest of his life. All right, totally cool. That's great. I'm guessing that he has found a good life for himself. I feel really happy for him. That's great.
For him to it's totally reckless. I should not have found out on Instagram. He's all over the place. Okay, this is a joke. And he's talking about he was vacationing for 2 weeks in the Philippines. Now he's staying there indefinitely. Yeah, he's loco.
All right, interesting. So you think if anyone would be supportive, it would be Tarik. If anyone would understand, oh, you know what? Sometimes things look bad from the outside, but on the inside, you absolutely know that they're good. And when other people do things, you should support them or at least give them the benefit of the doubt and not attack them. So we'll see how he manages this.
In the rafters, calling Dean a hypocrite, saying, I told you so. She won't. Just like, I hope he's happy. She doesn't hold any resentment. She doesn't hold any animus. She doesn't want to tell him off at all.
Yeah, that's a good point. Certainly with other couples on the show, we would have absolutely seen the people in Hazel's position say, he's a hypocrite, he's a terrible person, you need to disown him, all those kinds of things. And whereas she's just like, oh, all right, well, great. I hope he's happy. That's fantastic. The other thing that just occurred to me, because, a very common trope on this show or scene that they'll show is the family members who are very negative about their family member marrying someone from another country. I don't know why, but it's taken me this many months to consider. I think this is the first time it's occurred to me that for some families, they might unconsciously or even consciously believe that if their family member, so, Tarik's family, when they hear about Tarik meeting someone in the Philippines and wanting to marry her, I wonder if subconsciously they're worried that that means that their relationship with Tarik is going to end. Because if Tarik marries someone in the same town, then there's not so much of a threat, right? But if he marries someone across the world, what does that mean? Does that mean that he's going to move there? Does that mean his mind is going to be altered in some way by another culture and then I won't be able to relate to him? Does that mean that the spouse will be so strange culturally that they won't be able to integrate well into our family gatherings? And therefore, I'm worried about Tarik going over there and meeting someone because I'm worried that I'm going to lose my connection with him. Because that was always the weird thought. I was like, well, what do you care who this person marries? It doesn't matter to you if this person believes or even if they're making a bad choice. You can voice that. You're like, I think you're making a bad choice. But it's interesting that some people get so adamant about it. And again, I wonder about Dean and Tarik's history together and their family, how many incursions and invasions or things flying apart that they've experienced that would raise that anxiety of if he goes over there. And then you got to wonder, okay, now that I'm on this train of thought, that for Dean, maybe the anxiety about losing his younger brother to a woman in the Philippines caused him to say, you know what, if you can't beat him, join him. Because I tried to get him to not marry her, but that's going to happen. So in order for me to get closer to my brother, I've got to enter his world, and that gets sort of twisted in his mind of, well, I've got to go to the Philippines and find a Filipino woman. Who knows? I mean, this is just a lot of speculation, but it does raise those questions, and I would want to ask them how they felt about that. And I guess we'll see how it turns out.
Because now I feel like I'm him when he was talking crazy to me, saying that what I was doing is crazy. But what he's doing is really crazy.
Well,
you need to talk to him.
I will.
You need to talk to him. Tell him what could happen legally. I want him to be happy. Of course I want it to work out. I hope it's real. But this is absolutely nonsensical.
I mean, this man he just left with a suitcase and he's not coming back. Like, I'm just trying to figure out how he did that. That's the most insane thing I've ever heard.
So I wish that people in this situation would just stop and say, after having this reaction, which I think is normal. I mean, if someone did this in my family, I probably would be saying, at least in that direction, sort of things. But what's the reactivity? Calm down. Then you got to say, well, I got to talk to him. I assume that he has good reasons. The fact that I can't come up with those reasons shouldn't surprise me because I don't know the situation and I'm not him. So I wish people would just step outside of their reactivity and say, well, I got to go to the source and I got to remain open and I've got to hear the story. Now, if after I do a lot of that listening, really listening with not a bias, and I still think this is ridiculous, then fine. But at this point, I don't have any information, so I got to go to the source and say, hey, Dean, what's going on? I don't want to, I'm not judging you. I trust you, but I just want to hear because I'm really curious as to what happened here, and I'm really curious about how this went down. So tell me the story, and I'm open. I'm not listening with a negative bias. Maybe that would help.
She got kids?
What? Hell no!
Right now, Dean is kind of like a drunk driver, right? With his foot on the gas, thinking it's on the brake. I'm kind of scared about that.
And no, I gave you a hard time about Hazel and stuff like that. This place is just really good for me, man.
The hypocrisy of it is legendary. The whole time we was in the Philippines, you rolled my ass about this.
Right. So I think for Tarik, this is perhaps at least partially, if not mostly, about his resentment and hurt in the way that Dean treated him when he first started dating Hazel. And that this doesn't have so much to do with him thinking that Dean is making a bad choice, and has a lot to do with Tarik saying, I still hurt from how much you put us through, and how much judgment I got from you, and how much anger I got from you, and how much ridicule I got from you. I would like an apology for that. And so I wonder if that's what this is about.
And staying there with her and you barely know her. All I'm saying is, if you can't understand that what you did and how you did it was reckless, right, then we ain't being honest with each other. Anger is born out of the fact that you talk to my fiance. Now you're saying I'm interrogating you because you disappear and pop up in the same country, you know, that you talk crap about and all of this? My anger is at hypocrisy. I hate hypocrites.
So, yeah, I mean, most people aren't fond of hypocrites, but we perhaps are most angry when they attacked you for something, and then that other person did the same thing you did, and then you question them, and then they attack you back. I wonder if that's what it has to do with it. It would make all the sense in the world to me if Tarik was just like, you've been haranguing me and ridiculing me and making fun of me and judging me and criticizing me for 2 years now that I've been with Hazel. And I've been, doing my best to placate you and be nice to you and prove to you. And then you just, boom, go off and do something that's even more spontaneous and more, impulsive in the same exact vein as what I was doing. And you don't like it when I try to give you back what you gave to me in a little bit of way. How dare you not acknowledge what you did to me? And I wonder what Dean, if he were to right now say, you know what, brother of mine, I am so sorry that I did that to you. I never should have done it. You're right. I am a hypocrite. I was way too harsh on you, and it's clear you still have feelings about it, and you should, because I was really mean. And if you have judgments about me right now, that's fair play, right? So I wonder if Dean said something like that, if that would help.
What do I owe to you?
Respect! Respect! You owe me respect, fool!
Right. So it's just escalating, and Dean is just digging in and saying, what do I owe you? And then he gets angry. And I think it's because of the ongoing ridicule and judgment and criticism that Dean probably not only has about this issue with Hazel, but maybe a lot of issues throughout their life together.
Right? Then we ain't being honest with each other.
What do I owe to you?
Respect! Respect! You owe me respect, fool! And you know it. I gave you respect.
Talking all negative about my vision, that ain't respecting me?
You didn't even say nothing? You didn't even let me know it was coming? You could at least say it like, yo, I'm thinking about staying here, right? You was one of my best guys. If something pop off over there, who you calling?
And he's also expressing, I think, some underlying hurt there, that his brother posted it on Instagram and didn't tell him beforehand. I think that might also be hurtful for him.
I just don't want to see you get taken. Y'all are like my family.
Mm-hmm.
And the same concerns we had with him, I have for you. And you're so far away from everybody. You just up and made the decision. We don't know who these people are.
I just felt like I needed a change in my life, bro. I really needed a big change, bro.
I'm glad you're happy, Dean. Just be careful. But I gotta go.
He ain't being
Thanks for wishing me good luck.
he ain't being careful.
Thanks a lot for messing up my whole mood.
All right, brickhead. That don't mean nothing to me. That don't.
Makes me sad. I mean, I think I could at least speculate as to where they're coming from. I mean, I do know enough about humans to know that underneath all that anger between the two of them is a lot of pain. That's very clear to me. I would bet my life on that being true if we were to actually talk to them in a place where they could actually explore their own feelings. And it makes me sad when people are hurt and they're trying their best and they're trying to meet their needs, and it blows up and then it compounds the pain in terms of the way that they were talking to each other. It's heartbreaking to watch, really, because if I were there as a family therapist, I might say like, okay, and I've been this way before. As a family therapist, you have to interrupt at times, and you have to be good at interrupting. And one of the things that I found just over time, trial and error, is to interrupt, you have to get people's attention. In fact, early in my career, I had a couple who were arguing with each other very, very adamantly, and I was verbally going, and I think I might have even been an intern. This was 25 years ago. And I'm saying, okay, hey, maybe, hey, could you maybe not, hey, what? And that wasn't working. And so eventually I got a big poster board that was sitting up against the wall, and I stood up and I put the poster board between them as a way of just saying, like, will you please stop talking to each other, because none of this is helpful. And they were so engaged that they looked around the poster board and continued their yelling at each other. Anyway, point is I might say to them, okay, wait, listen. So I don't know what's going on here. I'm seeing a lot of anger. What other things are you feeling besides the anger? And it might take just that question, or it might take a few more questions to get at what I'm quite positive is hurt for both of them. I think Dean is hurt because he's trying to live his life, and it sounds like he's really struggling, and he went to the Philippines to find a better life. It sounds like what he's saying is that his life in Virginia was terrible and he hated it, and now he loves his life in the Philippines. So what does that tell you? So that's a lot of pain, and he probably wants some support for getting his needs met finally. And for Tarik, I think he wants some apology for the way that Dean judged him and the way that Dean criticized him, because the whole time Tarik felt like it was unjustified, and it's confirmation that it was unjustified and that the person criticizing him is now following in his footsteps. So they're both hurt by that, and I think that they deserve to be heard and to have that be understood and validated by the other person. Instead, they both transformed that hurt into anger. They attacked each other. It compounded the hurt and the pain and the distance, and now they're going to hang up on each other, I'm guessing, and it's going to be a really hurtful conversation.
You in the Philippines because I told you about it, fool. We done. I got to go back to work. Crazy.
Gotta be happy for him.
Yeah, he really gonna be happy when he be called. I can't get back to the States, man. She took my whole check, man. I am angry at Dean. I think sometimes Dean wants to show me, I'm gonna do it and I can outdo you doing you. So hopefully the girl's a good girl. Hopefully her family, it's a good family and all that. Hopefully he doesn't get taken.
And that's an interesting accusation, and I wonder where that comes from. I'm guessing that it comes from some data that Tarik has. He just said that his older brother is so competitive with him and has been that he was going to do the same thing he did and do it even better, or whatever the way Tarik said it. That's interesting, and that happens sometimes with siblings and with people for various reasons that I won't go into for the sake of time, but it is something that happens, and it does stem from suffering, meaning that if Dean is doing that, which there's no way to know, but we could take Tarik's word for it, then it comes from a place of Dean suffering quite a bit.
And I feel sick even saying that, because that's the same stuff he was saying to me. Oh, man.
All right, I believe, if I'm looking at the internet right, that this is the final episode and the final clip that we saw with Tarik and Hazel. I was watching all this story because I wanted to prepare for 90 Day Fiancé Season 8, which is coming out early December 2020. So I believe I'm all caught up, and I'm guessing we will continue with their story. starting, I believe, December 7th or something, 2020. So join us next time when we check in with them again. And hopefully Tarik and Hazel will continue to show us how people can get along well and be trusting of each other and be loving, and we'll see them develop their relationship. Hopefully that's what we see, but we'll find out together. Everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.